April 14, 2008. Radha Gokulananda Temple, London. It's Ramanavami. Hare Krishna. Glories to Ramchandra. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, verse number 4, the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. This mantra is a dhyana mantra for those who worship the Lord. Mantras like this in Srimad Bhagavatam are dhyan mantras, therefore meditating on the Lord. Those that love Ramchandra, those that love the deities here, can memorize this shloka and use this shloka to focus the mind on their lordships. It's good. You can see it, you can tell how it is. Koshalendro Vatanna, may he protect you. Like that. So it is just like devotees in our movement take shelter of Lord Nrsingadev by Nrsinga Pranama, by Nrsinga mantras to remember him when they get in calamity. So for the lordships, those that worship them, Amito Tomar Tumito Amar Kika Jayaparidhan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings in Sharanagati in the 8th section, in that 8th bhajan there, that I belong to you and you belong to me. Is there any other wealth in this world? So for those pujaris that worship Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, who know nothing but them, ekena manasa, nishta, their mind is fixed, then for them, Ramchandra is their Nrsinga. Their Lord is their Nrsinga. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifests himself in Nrsinga Roop. He manifests himself in Balaram Swarup. He manifests himself in the bhava of Shiva. Like that. So, therefore, devotees who worship a particular Lord accept their Lord as everything. So that's the idea. Sarvasva. So this mantra is one of them. These are many nice ones. And Bhagavatam has got something for every bhakta and every bhava. So this is nice. So these are good. For this day, things about the Lord. On this day, you should hear and chant and memorize things about that Lord. And there's something, the glories of the Lord are unlimited. So every Ramanavami, you can memorize something new. Every Janmashtami, you can memorize something new. And then keep it ever fresh in your mind. It's part of your friends. These verses become part of your friends. In this way, Srimad Bhagavatam was non-different from Krishna, liberates. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Srimati Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife, Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, or by another monkey, Sugriva, king of the monkeys, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshmana, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shurpanakha, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him, like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. Wow. It's a lot. There's no commentary. We're moving on to the next verse. Vishvamurtaradveyena Maurichyadya Nishachara Pashato Lakshmanas Yaiva Hata Nairta Narita Pungava. Wow. There's no purport here either. In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Visramba, Lord Ramchandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered in the night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramachandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshmana, be kind enough to give us protection. The 6th and 7th shloka I already spoke yesterday. It's a lot. Now, shloka number 8 is very similar to shloka number 4. Yasatya pasha parivritta patura nidesham strainasya chapi sirasa jagrihe sabadaya rajamasriyama prayanaya surodo nivasama chaktva yayo vanamasun eva mudda sangha. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Ramchandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, everything else, just like a liberated soul gives up his life, and went to the forest with Sita. Commentary by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Dasarath had 3 wives. One of them, Kaikeyi, served him very pleasingly, and he therefore wanted to give her a benediction. Kaikeyi, however, said that she would ask for the benediction when it was necessary. At the time of coronation of Prince Ramchandra, Kaikeyi requested her husband to enthrone her son Bharat, send Ramchandra to the forest. Maharaja Dasarath, being bound by his promise, ordered Ramchandra to go to the forest according to the dictation of his beloved. The Lord, as an obedient son, accepted the order immediately. He left everything without hesitation, just as a liberated soul or great yogi gives up his life without material attraction. Vrindavane Ramanavami Prasiddha Bhumno Tatrapi Krishna Balarama Suparamule Jnanam Param Paramaya Krishna Sudharma Chuktam Dandastu Deva Prabhupada Namo Namaste Sangsara Dukha Jalada Upatitasya Kama Krodadi Nakrama Korai Kavali Kritasya Durvashana Nigaditasya Narashrayasya Chaitanya Chandrama Madehi Padavalambam Jaladara Shashivarno Gopavesha Kishoro Sahachara Gana Vrindai Kridamana Vrajesho Natabara Jitavesho Nilapitam Varadyo Jagadajana Hetu Rama Krishna Natosmi Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Another nice one to learn on days like this was the famous statement that Ramchandra made to Sugriva. In Yuddhakanda of Ramayana, after being disappointed, giving advice to his brother, that you compromise, that you please release Sita, that you make peace with Ram. It's in the interest of the kingdom. It's in the interest of your duration of life and everything. And Ravana didn't do anything. So Vibhishana gave up. And he came in the air with some other ministers wanting to see Ramchandra. So Sugriva was very suspicious, the brother of Ravana, a Rakshasa, and maybe it's a trap, maybe it's a setup, maybe it's going to compromise our position, maybe we shouldn't see him. That was Sugriva's bhava. So he asked Ramchandra, should we trust this fellow or not? And then Ramchandra spoke this very heavy verse, which is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 22, verse number 34. Very heavy. He said, Sakrit eva prapano yas tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadam etadavratam mama. It is my vow, Ramchandra said, that if anybody at once calls out and says that I belong to you alone, then at once I will award fearlessness to that person. And from that, he will remain safe from that time forward. That's my vow. Then he turned to Sugriva and said, even if Ravana wants to come and bow his head and surrender, I'm ready to forgive him and accept him. What to speak of Vibhishana? So Sugriva goes, gulp, okay, and the rest is history. The rest is history. So it was Yuddhakanda. Prabhupada mentions it there in the purport. Yuddhakanda, chapter 17, verse number 33. Quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, verse 34. So it's important. It's part of surrender. It's part of sadhana. to surrender to the Supreme Lord. And Gopatve Varana, part of Sharanagati is accept the Lord as maintainer. And Avasarakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palam, that because I've surrendered and I do what my Guru says and I do what sadhu say, therefore Krishna will surely give me protection. They have that faith. So, and Ramchandra assures it, underlines it very intensely by that statement in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I remember when I would see Ramchandra's darshan sometimes like this, the Lord is smiling always. His smile always attracts the hearts and gives comfort to his devotees. And his raised hand and blessing always comforts the devotees. And verses like this one, today's verse here. It's wonderful. They're wonderful as dhyan mantras because each and every word is fraught with meaning. And it's like this word, this whole shloka here, in a condensed way, describes the whole aspect of the pastimes of the Lord in Ramayana, in a sankshipt, in a very concentrated way. And therefore, they're very neat. Poetically, in terms of Sanskrit poetry, they capture the mind because the author has put so much in it. The author of the verse, in this case, Srila Vyasadeva, has put so much in it, in the poetry. It's so astounding. And therefore, they're very nice. Many, many, many like that. One Rupa Goswami Prabhupada gives about Govardhan is in the same way. From Mukunda Muktavali 4. Yagya Banga Rushta Shakra Nuna Goda Mega Chakra Vishti Pura Kinna Gopa Vikshanupa Jata Kopa Kshipta Savya Hasta Padma Daratucha Shaila Sadma Gupta Gosta Raksha Raksha Mamta Tadya Pankajaksha. He says, today also me protect, O lotus-eyed Lord. It's another benediction verse. But the whole Govardhan Dharan Leela is in one shloka, in the most ecstatic poetry. And the most sweet format, Rupa Goswami did it. And it's like, captivating like anything, really. The poetry, the architecture is just so captivating to the mind, And the whole lifting Govardhan Hill, the whole tension, the whole scene, it's like painting, the verses paint pictures in the mind. And that's what it's meant to do. Because it's not meant to go through one ear and out the other. It's meant for you to go through the ear and into the heart and should stay there. And that's what Bhagavatam is about. You learn something and you go, wow, that's impressive. Then why let it go through the other ear? Keep it in the heart. Stay there. And then the more you meditate on it, the more you see the jewels, the qualities come right out, in the words, and they just shine in your heart to purify your heart. In this way, this verse is ecstatic because it's a benedictory. May Koshalendra Vatanna, may that Lord of Koshal, of Ayodhya, protect us. It's ecstatic because all of us burning in this material world require the protection of a suitable person. And the most suitable person to get protection, of course, is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his manifestations, avatars. Another interesting thing given by believed by Rupa Goswami and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a statement by Bajrangbali, Hanuman, that I know that my Lord Ramchandra is a manifestation of Krishna. This is a plenary portion, a manifestation of Krishna. Still, my mind doesn't deviate for a moment from him. This means that there are various bhaktas with various tastes. Also, in the Bhakti Ratnakar, it was describing about how Rup Sanatan tried so much to encourage their brother Anupam to give up the lotus feet of Raghunath and accept Sri Krishna. So he tried to chant Krishna mantra and tried to do that. But that night, he cried the whole night, unable to sleep. And he said, my dear brothers, please forgive me that I've surrendered my life, my head, to the lotus feet of Raghunath. And after surrendering it, I just can't take it away. And I don't know what to do. I have to follow you. It's my duty to follow your orders. You're my brothers and you're my superiors. But at the same time, my heart is pulled this way. And I don't know. What should I do? Should I give up my life? I just can't pull my head away from Raghunath's lotus feet. And then Rupa and Sanatan embraced him and said, well, your nishta is so great. Your bhakti nishta is so good. They glorified it very much that you cannot move your head away from your Lord, that you've accepted. So that's a very interesting point that Rupa and Sanatan, gave validity to. Their brother's Shraddha for Raghunath. So Ramchandra's faith for Lord Ramachandra is very strong and glorified in Ramayana, etc., etc. For those devotees who indeed have Shraddha in that Supreme Personality of Godhead, go for it. There's many nice literatures. The transcendental literatures are Ramayana, like that. And drink it. But of course we hear it on the tape, Srila Prabhupada was discussing Valmiki. He gets pretty heavy. You could hear it on the tape. He raises his voice. Valmiki Ramayana, not Tulsi Ramayana, And then on Radhastami, one Mataji, some program Prabhupada did, someplace, that some Mataji says, Oh Maharaj, could you please elucidate on this shloka from Tulsi Ramayana? So Prabhupada did so. And he broke it down, Sanskrit, word for word, glorified it like this. And then he says, this is not the original Ramayana. This is Ramayana filtered through the mind of Tulsi. Now, what are we supposed to do? It's like, in America there is a saying, damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you don't take action as an administrator, then people say you're too weak, you're not effective. And if you take strong action, people said, oh, he's not soft-hearted, he's not liberal, he's not, damned if you do and damned if you don't. So that's the thing. So it's kind of like that. When you see people, you cannot tell people from Bihar or from UP that Tulsi Ramayana is not right. They'll just never accept it. They were spoon-fed that when they were children. They just can't accept it. Really, they just can't. It's just something in their mind. It's just like locked in. What can you do? We see like our godbrother, beloved godbrother Ramanavami Swami, they're very tactful about it. Then what they do is they cross-reference with Valmiki. If that particular shloka, that particular thing does not disagree in that poetry with Valmiki, then accept it. And if it disagrees, we beg to disagree. That's the point. If it disagrees with Valmiki, then I'm sorry, Tulsidas, we beg to disagree. But if your verse does not disagree with Valmiki, then we'll accept it. And indeed, the poetry is very attractive. I saw that in Bombay a year ago, when I was attending a Ram Katha by Radha Govinda Maharaj in Bombay. And everybody in the audience, I'm talking 600 and 800 devotees, they all knew it. When he was describing the beauty of Ramchandra, as described in the Avadi, in Tulsi, everybody in the room repeated the verse when Maharaj was speaking it. Everybody repeated the verse. And it's impressive. When you see 600 and 800 people all in voice, their unison, the voice just sung the beauty of Ramchandra's form as depicted by that. It's impressive. We understand that. Because Yena Tena Prakarena Mana Krishna Niveshaya. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada mentions somehow or another, keep the mind on Krishna. We have enough distractions in Kali Yuga. You have enough in London area to be distracted. You have enough garbage floating in your mind. Keep the form of Ramchandra in your brain. Keep Krishna in your brain. And if as long as it does not swerve from the previous acharyas like Valmiki, then accept it. You can cloak it in any poetry you want as long as it does not deviate from what Valmiki has written, then you can accept it. And if it does, well, we will stick to Valmiki. That's the conclusion. It's impressive. Then all you can only think of, go ahead and sing. Go ahead and sing the glories of the Lord, just like in Gaur Purnima. Gau Gau Puna, Gaurangera Guna, Karilo Sharilo Mon. That Vasudev Ghosh says, sing again and again the glories of Gauranga. Keep your mind real simple. Simple means we don't deviate from our acharyas. That's the idea. We don't deviate from Valmiki. If that section will conclude, we agree. So these things are wonderful, nice. Guru Varte. Now what's interesting is Guru is the superiors. Guru Janam were considered superiors. Superiors are the parents. Superiors are your teachers. Superiors are your initiating spiritual masters, instructing spiritual masters. They were all in the same categories. So it's very interesting. Guruvarte Chaktarajo, that out of immediately obedience to his father, Dasarath's order, he immediately gave up his kingdom. Like that. Now, what's wonderful, Gaur Govinda Maharaj in his history, Krishna Linga Devigra, I was told the past time about him that when he wanted to renounce life in 1974, he was giving some Rampat somewhere, around Ramanavami. And he came to that portion in Ramayana when people were objecting, the citizenry, of course, in Ayodhya all loved Ramchandra. And they really wanted Ramchandra to stay and become the king. And even some of them said, you should arrest your father. You should imprison your father. You should take over the kingdom by force, because that's what the citizens wanted. They really wanted Ramchandra. And then Ramchandra said, no, I will follow the order of my father. I will go to the forest. In the forest, there are many nice sages there. We'll have good sangha with many nice, saintly persons like that in the forest. So Ramchandra painted a very positive picture of how following the order of his father would only bring him good and would only bring the citizens good. And then when he went to the palace, when the news hit Sita Devi, he said, oh, princess, oh, daughter of Janaka, you can stay here in the palace with the other ladies, with your mothers and like that, mothers-in-law and like that. You don't need to inconvenience yourself in the forest. But she says, no, I will go and I will crush, the thorns with my feet, on the path, and I'll make the path smooth for you. I'm not going to. She said, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to go ahead. And it's one of the most determined statements in Ramayana. When you talk about sati, the quality of chastity, it's astounding. For ladies who wish to read more about that, there's even something even more hair-raising and impressive in Ramayana. It's called the Sita Anusuya Samvad. Extremely powerful. When the Lord was in Dandakaranya with his consort, they came across the ashram of Valmiki Muni in Chitrakoot. Even now, I remember in 1989 visiting that area after Kumbh Mela. Not too far, it's about 8 hours outside of Allahabad. And that area, beautiful area, those of you that love Sitaram, I recommend highly that you visit this spot, Chitrakoot. It is as if the forest hasn't changed in 2,000 years. They've kept everything so wonderfully sublime. They have huge petrified tree stumps. Huge. I'm talking about 1/3 of the size of this room. One tree trunk, cut and petrified. And you can sit on it. They used to sit on it for hearing pravachans. They have crystal clear rivers there with big, huge fish that are totally unafraid of human beings. And they throw chana at them, like that. And sages on the top of one doing austerities. It's the most beautiful forest. It is so nice. You feel like you could just, right around the corner, Sita Ram are there. The forest is so charming and so beautiful. And it's the Mandakini Ganga, so beautiful as it flows. And the city there in Chitrakoot, so many nice Ram temples. It's so charming. Such a charming thing. For those who love Ramchandra, that is a really nice place for meditation, where you can peacefully sit and read Ramayana and just bathe your ears and heart. So in that spot, exactly, in that spot was where Ramchandra was greeted by Atri Muni. And then his beautiful wife Sita took the opportunity of conversing with Anusuya, who rendered her Brahmana Tejas was so powerful by her chastity and faithfulness and transcendental knowledge that she instructed Sita Devi on the art of chastity, on Pati Dharma, how to serve the husband. And it's one of the most famous conversations about the topic, and it's good. It's a good topic. So everything you'll find in Shastra. So Guru Bharate Chaktarajo, he gave up his kingdom, Vyacharat Anubanam, and he was happy to go from one forest to another. Just like Krishna and Balaram also did. They're happy to go from one forest to another. In those days, it was not so difficult. They were trained. They lived on, even now in that area they sell, kandamul, a very sweet root that they claim that Ramchandra used to take in those days. So they lived on roots. They lived on fruits. And whatever the forest offered them, they lived on. Anubanam Paramapadbyam Priyaya, with his lotus feet, along with his dear wife. Parnisparsha Kshamabhyam, and his lotus feet were so soft that even his wife's hand was too. She felt, obviously it meant that she felt that my Lord's lotus feet are so soft that even cannot tolerate the touch of my own hand. Sita Devi must have massaged her Prabhu's lotus feet. So that's where this comes from. And Mrijata Padarado Yo Harindranu Jabhyam, and along the path that Hanuman and Lakshmana gave all comforts as much as possible to Ramchandra, or another monkey, Sugriva, it said, gave all comforts to Ramchandra and make sure that he was, and out of Vairapyach Churpanakya, the whole idea of Nasik is referred to 4 hours out of Bombay, is a place where, that's why it's called Nasik. It's a place where she insulted Sita Devi's beauty and qualities and wanted Ramchandra to accept her, but he did not tolerate the aparada to his wife, and he cut her nose off there, disfigured her, and she ran off to complain to Ravana, and that place is called Nasik, where the nose was cut off. There. Then afterwards, Sita Devi was stolen. So it says, Priya Viraharusha, he became very angry in separation from his beloved Sita Devi. Upita Bru Vijimba, and his eyebrows were very intense, very intensely angry. And Trashta Bir Badda Setu, then Trashta, out of fear of that, the sea gave way to Ramchandra and allowed the Setu, the bridge, to be built. And even to this day, those that Nassau and other people, they say that this is definitely a man-made bridge. It's not a naturally formed bridge. The bridge that crosses from India to Lanka, that's not a naturally formed bridge. It's a man-made bridge. So there, and so Trashta Bir Badda Setu Kaladava Dahana, and he just like Kaladava, just like a forest, Dahana, he burnt Ravana and Ravana's kingdom. So he's so powerful to do that. Koshalendro, the Indra, the king of Kosha, Ayodhya, Vatanna, may he protect you. If he's so powerful that he can burn Ravana like a forest, Ravana's kingdom like a forest fire, that out of Priya Viraha Rusha Opita, out of his separation from his dear wife, he can cause the sea to bifurcate and allow his monkey soldiers to float rocks and build a bridge across. This powerful Ramchandra, who is so powerful, surely he can protect you. He can protect little us, all his part and parcels, who will take shelter of his lotus feet. So all the lords, there are verses for Gaurnatai that mentions about Mahaprabhu. After his Janma Leela is taken up in Adi 13, it mentions about his beauty in Shloka 14:1, that if you remember Lord Chaitanya, then difficult things become very easy. And if you forget him, easy things become very difficult. So in this way, Kaviraj Goswami gives for the devotees of Gauranga, he gives many, many wonderful verses are there, here and there, at the beginning of chapters, which are remarkable. And devotees that love Lord Chaitanya, with Ekena Manasa, they memorize that. And for them, surely that Gauranga will protect them. So it's like that. There are different things to encourage different devotees' natural devotional bhava. That's the point. And Bhagavatam is meant to nourish, give food to all the devotees for their nourishment in their spiritual life. So these shlokas here in this section are Shukadev Goswami's, Vyasadeva's mercy to us, that those who love the Lord in a particular way can be inspired. Now just take that verse, put it in your heart, hug it nicely, and chew it nicely. Samadhigata saravarata tatiya. Raghunath Das mentions in Manashiksha that if you meditate, he's referring to his shlokas, Manashiksha, the instructions to the mind. Saravarth samadhigata giragayat yuchai. Those who will chant those verses in the morning, uchai, with a loud voice, samadhigata, meditating on what they mean, sarvartha tatiya, they will bestow all benefits to the devotee. So when you extrapolate that to Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, none different from the Lord. So these shlokas glorifying the Lord, written by liberated souls, Vyasadeva, spoken by Shukadev Goswami, and in disciple succession by the Acharyas, they are Krishna. The shloka like this is non-different, sakshat, from Ramchandra. The glories of the Lord, the gunas of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord, sound vibration about the Lord, written in an authorized way, is sakshat, non-different from the Lord. This means that when you take this with you and you chew it, think about it. Samadhigata, contemplate it. Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter 12, verse 13 says, Yashrinvan, those who hear Bhagavatam, supatet, read it deeply, vicharana para, and meditate on the transcendental subject matter. Bhaktyan vimunchen nara. Those devotees that are human beings become completely liberated. So this is how liberation is obtained, in this way, by the names, by the qualities, and by the smaranam. Everything is stolen at the time of death. Everyone here in this room is an Ayaram Gayaram and an Ayarani Gayarani. Not only Maharaj and I are Ayaram Gayarams. He's come and he's gone, right? No, but all of us in this room. Our body has come, we'll stay for some time, and go. The life insurance policy for a Vaishnava and a Vaishnavi of substance is this Hare Krishna mantra, is this Smaranam, is your Shraddha for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and another thing I want to tell you is in 8th canto, chapter 3, verse 1. There, when it mentions about Gajendra, the king of the elephants, he pulled a lotus flower and he remembered a verse from his last life as Indradumna, and he offered it to the Lord. And that's before the Vandana starts, the famous Gajendra Moksha Vandan starts. And Prabhupada comments there in the purport there that the members of the ISKCON movement should memorize something that's very precious to them. And he gives examples, like Brahma Samhita, Chintamani, Prakara, Sadhamusuva, etc. Prabhupada gives a few examples. But he said the devotees should memorize something which is personally dear to them. Because that is what's going to take you, Prabhupada mentioned there. That is what's going to help liberate you. Because you concentrate that. It is a natural situation when any devotee gets in a dangerous situation or an uncertain situation where they feel uncertainty. Then they naturally take shelter of those lordships that have given them shelter all along. That they know it. And their mind naturally gravitates. You see? And it does start with the Hare Krishna mantra. Everything comes from Nama. We should increase it, encourage it, and chant it deeper. But all these verses like Bhagavatam, they're all angas. They're all expansions of the holy name. The bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they're like Veda Pramanam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad said about Narottam Das's songs are Ved Pramanam. They're just as good as the Vedas for us. They're powerful. And they're angas. They're expansions of the holy name. They actually help us remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's it. Our bhajan, our sajan. Bhajan koro sajan koro murtli janli hoy. Our bhajan, worship of God, and our sajan, good association, is how we pass the final examination of death. Every one of us. So for those that loves here in this audience, that are in this community, who serve their lordships, who like to go and serve them directly, who take them, bathe them, feed them, offer them something, make garlands for them. It's like when you offer something to the Lord. Almost every day, different devotees make some garlands for the Lord. When I put one on their neck, I just remark, look how nice they did it. They did this for you. They did this out of love for you. And I remember the good fortune of Sudama. That Kanu and Dauji, they went in Mathura. They were on the Rajapata. They're on the royal roads. They thought, look, we're not in the village anymore. We've got to look good. So then they wanted to get some cloth. And they asked the washerman, give us some cloth. Hey, this is for the king. We can't give that to you. And then Krishna took his head off with his hand. And then the cloth was scattered. And all the boys, they got a photograph of the boys picking up the clothes. Look at that. Look at that. This looks good, like that. And then some tailor came and made some nice armlets for Krishna and Balarama with the cloth. Nice decorations. And the Lord blessed that tailor. Full power of the senses, long duration of life, all opulences, and liberation at the end. Just for making some cloth that was on the body of the Lord. Right. Then the next came along the line was who? Kubja, Trivakra, bent in three places, being burdened by the earth. The expansion of Satyabhama herself, expansion of Prithvi Devi, who was burdened by the burdens of the kings on this earth. That's why she was Trivakra, bent in three places. And she offered some beautiful essence of the earth, the scent from the earth. Gando Gandayatama Asmi. Krishna says, I am the fragrance of the earth. So from that essence of the fragrance of the flowers, she made this beautiful essential oil. One was blue and the other one was yellow. And she offered it to the two brothers like that. And they smeared it on their body. And then Krishna said to Dauji, I should do something for her. And then, so he came up to her, pressed her feet with his lotus feet, and touched her underneath the chin with his two lotus fingers, and went, Kip, and made her straight and beautiful, just for offering some scent to the Lord. And furthermore, there's a beautiful samvad in the purport there. If you read that, it's hilarious. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes conversation between her and Krishna. It was very interesting. Krishna was a pukka diplomat because Balaram was there, the coward boys were there, so he was very diplomatic with her. And the boys couldn't razz him for that. I was discussing this with Bhanu Swami. The boys couldn't razz him, because Krishna was such a perfect diplomat. Well, maybe he promised that he'll go to her house. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he won't, Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in Gita that Krishna's a liar. He's a Vrajavasi. Everyone knows Vrajavasis lie, So the boys, they know that, So maybe Krishna's just giving her a staying, Maybe he'll go to her house after he kills Kamsa. I don't know, So the boys couldn't razz Krishna, And then they went on. After they got nice ornaments, they got nice scent, they got nice cloth, Then what next? They wanted some garlands. So they went to the Sudama, the forest. And oh, you've come into my house. Oh, my house and my ancestors have all become glorified and perfect because you've entered my house. We're so fortunate. What can I do for you? Sudama asked the lords. What can I do for you to please you? And they just glanced at some nice garlands that he had made. They were admiring some very nice garlands that he made. So he saw that. You like those garlands? So he took those garlands and put them on their necks. And Krishna blessed him. Full duration of this, long duration of life, full power of the senses and liberation at the end, just by offering a garland. So all of you that have decorated Sitaram and Lakshman, Hanuman, and all the deities so wonderfully on this appearance day, and you do it every day, all the time, like this. You do it nice alankara, nice decorations. It's nice. The more you decorate the Lord, Prabhupada mentioned, the more you become decorated with good qualities. So keep decorating the lordships, feed them with love, and it is the process of practice. How Prabhupada liberates the devotees, encourages the devotees by engaging in all these nice things, by serving their lordships, by offering them garlands that you sew with your hands. And do put Tulsi in everything, and everything with Tulsi. She is the upachari, the essence of all items that's offered. The essence of everything that's offered, she's the best. If you have her on the garlands, it's the guaranteer. The Praman is 3rd canto, chapter 15, verse 19. Now the flowers of Vaikuntha are not envious of her, because the Lord prefers her on the chest. If they're there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Sharanagati, no, it's Katavali. He said, I'll make garlands for Radha Krishna. No, it is Sharanagati. This is Anukul section. That I'll make garlands that enchant the divine couple, and the Tulsi Manjaris will be the jewels of the garland. So when you put that in Ramchandra and Lakshman garlands, Tulsi, then that's the life insurance policy. The flowers are happy because that means the Lord will accept them. And if the Lord accepts your garland by Tulsi Rani's mercy, what else do you want? What else do we want? We want to be offered by Tulsi to their lordships. And this way, the lordships will pull you in, Prabhupada mentioned, like helplessly. You're just like the Lord is like a magnet. He just pulls his devotee in. And the devotee is just like pulled in by that gravitational force, by that magnetic force of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This way, your life becomes successful. By making garlands for the Lord's, by feeding the Lord, by thinking of Him. And verses like this that helps you think of the Lord when you're outside, wandering here and there. The whole idea of the beautiful darshan of their lordships, with all the hard work of the devotees, is that they want the devotees to take this form of the deity like a picture and put it on the heart and take it with you wherever you go in London. And then these verses of Bhagavatam, like this particular beautiful verse, will help you keep the pastime of Ramayana and the beauty of the Lord and His beautiful wife Sita Devi and it's there. Everything is there. And then it can help you keep the Lord in the mind. And when the Lord is in your mind, then you're not alone in this concrete jungle. You're not alone in this place. The lordships will stay with you. Hare Krishna.